It is Planter Box 21. That'll confuse a ton of people. The 24 by 24 inch base with a center post in there, which can be used for either hanging lights or plants, whatever your customers fancy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those wimpy little legs aren't going to hold the weight of dirt. It's like the tide always falling your eyes. And I can assure you, that's not a problem for this one. Just pretend I have a sandwich. Let's build it. First, I ripped 2 pickets to 1 3/4. We won't be using all 6 strips, but I can always use them for mess-ups or boards that have nasty spots. Cut 8 pieces to 16 inches tall for the legs. For the sides and bottom, stack 2 pickets cut twice at 23 inches long and once at 21 3/4. Grab 2 more pickets and cut them down to 21 3/4 as well. It's been a while, guys. Oh, nail counter! If you guys would like to drop a comment as to how many nails you believe this build is going to take, I have not built one since last year, and if the other planter box takes, my guess for this one is going to be 95. 95 nails is my guess. I got 100 in the chamber. Let's see if we can make it happen. Before we start chopping up the 2x4 and 4x4 pieces for that upright, we are going to build the shell of the planter box, which is essentially the entire planter box minus the pretty trim at the top. So, to do that, we are going to take this 24-inch piece of wood, put them together just like that. Get your glue, pick off that nasty hard spot that always goes underneath your fingernails. And I am using a Titebond 3. It is their only exterior waterproof glue that Titebond makes. Squirt 2 sides of glue right there. Take a few of your legs. Again, this follows right along with the 3 picket planter. Smack him down like that. I shoot 3 into each one. 1, 2, 3. And then repeat for this side. Also didn't prep my compressor. There's a good chance it's turning on during this. I put the legs into the 23-inch sides mainly for aesthetics because they're farther apart than if we did it to the 21 3/4. So once that is done, you're going to tip it up onto its edge. I don't know what you're going to see on the cameras here. Run some glue like that. Line your side up so that they're perfectly flush on the outside of your box, and it'll give you that little lip on the inside. And a few more nails into that. Repeat for this side. And there is one completed side. Now we're going to repeat that for the next side. Now that we have our 2 sides, you are going to set them like this in this little weird balancing act. Can't believe that worked. And we are going to run glue just in here down to where the bottom of the sides are. Then we're going to take a long piece and nail it into place. And the nice thing with this side is that the nails are on the inside of your planter box, so you don't actually see them on the outside. I knew that was going to happen. She's been creaking like the Titanic this whole video. Yeah, flip them over. Do that again for the the next side here. If your sides do not line up perfectly, that's okay. It's on the bottom of the box, and the leg hides most of that for you, so it's all right. Another tip to actually squeeze these sides together, you can put it up against a table saw or a wall so you don't actually have to hold it or try to get it squeezed together. Usually I squeeze it and just kind of clamp it with my hand. How we doing? We're not going to make it. All right, with the sides and the legs constructed, you flip him over to the bottom. Whew, that's a lot of real estate. And now we are going to take these boards and put them into the bottom. I line them up so that they are flush with the bottoms, like so, like so. I don't use glue on this section. It just gets messy. It runs everywhere. Makes the box look a little cheaper and a little more like garbage at the end. And again, that lip didn't line up. That's okay, it's on the bottom. Just make sure you take that into account when you are putting your nails into the side so they're not shooting through the inside of the box. Then I do my other side. I like to do the outsides first just to make sure that everything is square, and then I'll put the inside boards in there. Plus, one of them will have to rip down. And for the inside boards, I'm just going to put him in here like this. Ooh, he's short. He's short. He is also short. Uh-oh. All right, now with this one, this actually used to be a 24 by 24 sides box. I actually took it down by an inch for this reason, and that is because instead of cutting a thin sliver for the center, I can actually just rip this board down just a pinch. And 3 more nails into this guy. We're not out yet. And there's the completed shell. Depending on where you buy your lumber, you'll have a couple different 4x4 options. One of those is going to be your 4x4 treated post. I don't like them. I don't like the green color. I hate cut, you know this. I don't like treated lumber that much. And up against a piece of cedar, it just doesn't look good. And it's going to be the main showcase of this planter box. They also come in way heavier than any of the other options. So we're talking probably about 4 times the weight in a 4x4 post that now your cedar planter box has to support, plus it's dirt. I just wouldn't use a 4x4 post. This guy would have been $9 for an 8-footer when I was looking. I just wouldn't do it. Your next option would be an untreated 4x4 post. They are much lighter than the 4x4 treateds. They look pretty good. They have a nice grain design. They do match the cedar more than the actual treated boards are going to do. And this guy's coming in at $15 for an 8-footer. Not too bad. And the last option would be a cedar 4x4 post. I don't have a scrap piece of cedar 4x4, so just pretend the smallest piece of scrap I could have found is a 4x4. Now, this guy is coming in at $30, so about double the price of either of our other options, but aesthetically will match the box to perfection. So something to definitely talk to your customer about. Do they want either of these 2 options? Do they want it to be a cedar 4x4? To match the box, it's going to be about $20 more is what I generally tell them. And most of the time, they're okay with that price when they're buying 2 or 3 of them. I once sold a group of 6 of these boxes, and they did want the cedar posts. So you don't actually make really any money off of this upgrade. It's just aesthetically gets the customer what they're wanting. This is where prefabrication of these boxes gets a little tricky because there are several applications people might be using these boxes for. Now, this is an 8-foot post, 6 inches up off the ground because it's inside of our planter box. Not everybody's going to want one to be that tall. Now, if they're wanting to use this to hang lights in their patio, they're going to get 4 or 5 of them. Good for you. Then they might want them to be that tall because the draping of the lights, it would give them more space. It's up higher, it's out of the way. Cool. Otherwise, people might just want them to be 4 or 5 feet tall so they could put some brackets on the side and, hang potted plants or something off of the sides of them, or just simply put a little 4x4 light up here, something to that nature. So if you guys are making these for people, I would maybe have one for display. That's what I'm going to do. And then ask them what size they would want this post to be. The longest would be 8 feet. It doesn't cost you any more or less to leave it at 8. If you're cutting it down to 7, you're just cutting off a foot of the board. They're paying for it anyway. So I would definitely ask them when they're doing it. For demonstration today, I am cutting mine down to 7 feet. I want to leave it a little tall so people can see how tall it could possibly get. So 7 feet's what I'm doing. Did I say 7 feet? I'm sorry. I meant 80 inches. 80 inches is the longest piece I can cut without moving it to the opposite side. I'm glad we have a number on it now. 80 inches. To hold up our 4x4 post, we need to cut 2 pieces of 2x4 to run along the bottom of our shell. I measure and cut my 2x4s to run perpendicular to the bottom boards of my box. This way I can nail into them from underneath and strengthen the overall bottom. To mount that 4x4 post, I first take my 2 pieces of 2x4, find the center and measure 1 3/4 off to either side, and that gets me my 3.5 inch markings for the 4x4 post. So with those in place, I just take my square, line them up, make sure these guys are good. Make 2 marks. I don't need that center line because it is not important. With these, I will be piloting in 3 holes into each. Before screwing them together, I do just dry fit the board to make sure that it actually fits inside of my box. It's a lot easier than screwing it all together and trying to fight with it later on. So with this guy complete, I just line the boards up best I can into here. These are just a 3-inch construction screw. Start your next one, and then take your square and just make sure everybody is lined up. Just like that. And do the same for the other side. To mount our 4x4 post, we are first going to just slide it into place. Get it so everything looks like it's in the center. And then we are going to screw in our first side. Something else you could do is take your level and put it up against there just to make sure that the post is running true. And ours is pretty much right on the money. Now, if it was off kilter, you could just kind of angle and then screw it into place and it would hold itself. Granted, if you are lifting it up off of the bottom of your planter box, it might kind of start to want to shift things around, so be cautious. And with this side completely screwed in, I'd move to that side, check it for level, and screw that side in as well. Then you teach your planter box how to salsa dance, like that. And I like to put 2 screws through each of the center boards, lining up with our 2x4 on the other side. And you can really see it pull the cedar board up against that 2x4. Unless you miss, then it's just an extra drain hole. And just like that, our 4x4 is mounted. Easiest way to get these lined up is to actually look at this inside corner, and once these angles match up with that, it's pretty much in the perfect position. Because that is where your miters are going to butt up against each other on the inside. I think I got one in the chamber. I had two in the chamber. Who's still in the running? Anybody guess over 100? This one doesn't count. Now it does. And I just shoot in a couple extra. I put my hand down here to feel how far of a lip it has, so that way I know where to line my nail gun up. You guys close on the number of nails it took? I wasn't. It's planter box season, bud. You better start getting these things built. If you haven't already bought a pallet of pickets, there's 360 on a pallet. It's a skid, as they call it. They don't come on a pallet. All right. Bye.